Rome is one of the most famous cities in the world, but it hasn't always been this way. In fact, for hundreds of years, Rome was on the brink of destruction. From fires to earthquakes to being completely surrounded by enemy forces, Rome has seen its fair share of disasters. But there's one event that almost ended the Roman Republic forever, and if it wasn't for one man, Rome might have looked a lot different today. In 883 BC, the Roman king Tarquinius Superbus was overthrown and the Roman Republic was born. For the next 275 years, Rome grew from a small Italian city to a Mediterranean superpower. But as Rome grew, so did its enemies. By the late 1st century BC, Rome was at war with nearly all of its neighbors. But even though Rome had powerful enemies, they all eventually fell to the might of Rome, that is, except for one, Mithridates, the sixth of Pontus. Mithridates wasn't a new threat either. He'd been an enemy of Rome since the 1st century BC. But despite multiple defeats, he continued to lead his armies against Rome. By 82 BC, Mithridates controlled much of the eastern Mediterranean. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, another enemy rose in the east, Tigranes II of Armenia. Tigranes was a brilliant military commander, and he quickly took advantage of Rome's preoccupation with Mithridates to conquer vast amounts of territory. In fact, Tigranes' ambitions were even bigger than those of his father, Tigranes I, who just 50 years earlier had declared all of Western Asia a part of the Kingdom of Armenia. By 69 BC, Tigranes controlled all of Anatolia and parts of Syria, Cappadocia, and Cilicia. At the height of his power, Tigranes ruled over an empire that stretched from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and from Greece to the Persian Gulf. Tigranes and Mithridates were an unstoppable force. The two kings worked together perfectly. While Tigranes was busy conquering Anatolia, Mithridates was conquering the rest of the eastern Mediterranean. Together, they led their armies into Greece. But Rome wasn't ready to give up just yet. They sent their best general, Lucius Cornelius Sulla, to put down the rebellion. And even though Sulla was successful in defeating both Mithridates and Tigranes, the damage was already done. Rome had been weakened and drained of its resources. To make matters worse, both Mithridates and Tigranes were still alive and waiting for their chance to strike back. Sulla knew that Rome needed a strong leader to defeat its enemies. So he set his sights on Gaius Marius, a brilliant military commander who had defeated the Cimbri and Teutones in the north. Sulla and Marius had always been rivals. But Sulla knew that if Rome was going to survive, it needed both him and Marius at the helm. So Sulla marched on Rome and forced the Senate to declare Marius and himself co-consuls for 86 BC. But it was a short-lived alliance. Sulla was soon back at war with Mithridates, this time in the east. He left the defense of Rome to Marius. But what Sulla didn't realize was that Marius had secretly allied himself with the Marian Reform Party. The Marian Reforms were a series of political and social reforms that aimed to make the Roman Republic more efficient and effective. The reforms were popular with the common people, but they were hated by the Roman elites. And when Sulla went to war, the Marian reformers saw their chance to put their agenda on the front burner. While Sulla was away, they passed a series of laws that stripped the Roman Senate of much of its power. They also reformed the Roman army, making it more professional and less dependent on the whims of the Roman elites. This was a direct challenge to Sulla's authority, and he responded by returning to Rome with an army and marching on the city. This was the first time in Roman history that one Roman was at war with another Roman. And it would not be the last. But in the end, it was Sulla who came out on top. He defeated Marius's forces and executed many of his supporters. He then left Rome and went back to the east to finish the war with Mithridates. With Mithridates finally defeated, Rome was once again at peace. But the damage had been done. The Roman Republic would never be the same after the Marian Civil War. Sulla's victory had come at too great a cost. The Roman elites had lost much of their power, and the Roman Republic was on the verge of collapse. It would take the rise of Julius Caesar and then Augustus to restore order to Rome. And even then, Rome would never be the same. What do you think? How would history have been different if Rome had fallen in 82 BC? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a like. Thanks for watching.